Hey guys, welcome. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to add your Dubsado form to your Flothemes site. And the great thing is there is a large number of ways you can actually add the form to your site, either via an embed form or via a button, for example. And that could lead directly to the self-hosted Dubsado form, and you could then redirect back to your site afterwards once they have submitted the form. So let's get started. If you first go to Dubsado and you have created your forms, you can go to Templates, Forms, and in here you'll have your lead capture forms. Again, you could be using this for any of the forms that you're using on your site, but in our case we're going to use lead capture, and you can create a new form as always. You can follow their tutorial for that, but when you've created the form you will then have the option to share it. Now you can do that with two methods. That's the iframe, so that would be it would load the form on the site for you. So again, if we go to the contact page, you can see that this is an iframe loaded on the page here. This is an iframe as well in a different block, and another block here again with an iframe. The other method would be adding a link, and that link would then go to the page. So once you click it, it loads up the Dubsado page and the user would submit from there. So there is both of those methods, but basically you can choose and pick which method you would like to do that, whether that's going to be using the direct link or the iframe. For a more seamless experience, of course, using the iframe code will work best. So we'll just want to copy this code, and then we'll want to go back to our Flothemes site. So you can log into your page, and there are a number of ways you can add this. So you can use any block basically that allows you to insert text. You can actually use the contact form blocks as well. They also have an option for a custom contact form. So if we go down to our layout section, if you're using new themes and you wanted to use the contact form block, for example, you would simply edit the block, scroll down, and then whenever it comes to contact form type, you can choose custom shortcode, and here you will just paste that code. So just insert the script here, and then you would save your page, and that would then load the form on the site. You could use other blocks as well, so don't feel limited by just the contact form block. In this case I've tried a text block as well. Again, just added all the details I wanted. Make sure that you use the text view when inserting it, so just go to text view instead of visual. And then again, of course, insert the script. If you go to visual view, you can see that it's renders here, so you can actually see that on the page. Another option that I used would have been just a regular text content block. So here, let me just drag that up. Again, any text block that has the text mode, just paste in the script and it will render on the site. So yeah, three different methods there, but again, there are other blocks that will work with as long as they have a content area with the text section here. The other method that I used was actually with a link. So you'll see whenever we go back to Dubsado that whenever we go to share the form, there was actually a direct link. So again, if you go to that direct link, it would then take you to your contact form here. It is hosted by them. If you have a custom if you have a paid plan, you can actually add a custom domain here as well. Again, user would complete it as normal, submit it, and you would generate that lead. You can actually redirect the form afterwards. So maybe you wanted to track it via Google Analytics for goal submissions, for example. You could set up a thank you page and then redirect the form to that thank you page. You can do that actually with both the self-hosted version, the iframe, the version that's here, that you could also redirect them to a thank you page. I do highly suggest doing that for Google Analytics goals. It'll be a really great way to see how many people come to your contact form and actually submit the form. If you wanted to do that, you can quickly do that by going to the settings for any form. So if you're in the forms, choose the form, go to settings. You can just choose the redirect URL here, and it will then redirect after form submission. So that would be how you would do that. Pretty simple. Again, I would highly suggest checking the documentation for more details from Dubsado themselves on how you can use some of the settings for the forms themselves. So as I was showing you, if you are sharing it, copy and pasting this link here, you can add this to any button or link option on the site. You can even add it as an option within a text block as well. So for example, even in this text block, if you were to go down a few lines and maybe insert a code here, so you could just go down to the bottom. It's actually better in visual mode in this case. You can just add some text, copy that text, click insert link, then you can edit settings, open it in a new tab, for example. Or if you were using sort of one of these image blocks with a button, for example, you could again edit the block, come down, find the URL section, paste the code, and add the button label. Or if you're using an actual button, so again, just a button if maybe you want to add this different places in your site. Again, add the text, add the link. Do you want a new tab, yes or no? Of course you can do that as well. So lots of ways to add it to your site, folks. Feel free to try and test that. You can use both the iframe method or the direct link to that form. And as I mentioned, you can also redirect to a thank you page. So really simple, great way to add it to your Flothemes site.